Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, December the 8th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and Perlo is just entering as we speak, ready to break down the Monday NHL card. We've got five Monday NHL games on tap. We'll get to those in a moment, but first we'll look back, as we always do, on the Sunday NHL slate. It began with actually what was a pretty entertaining opener there with the Avs and the Flyers. It ended up being kind of a good start for Philly. We were all over that. I think Alex and I had a piece of the Flyers' first period, first goal against Colorado. Nice to see that come through at a really nice, I think, plus 150 is what I was able to get with that price with the Flyers' first goal. That was great to see that. It was a great start for Philly, got the first goal. Colorado responded, took the lead going into the first intermission, and then 3-2. And just, this is why Colorado's scary. They can win a 3-2 game. You know, everyone always reacts to McKinnon and obviously when he's out healthy, Nichushkin and the goal-scoring prowess that this team has, Cale Makar on the back end, but they can shut you down when they need to protect a lead, and they certainly showed that yesterday with the 3-2 win over a very feisty Philadelphia team. It was a good effort from the Flyers, but sometimes when you're playing a team playing as well as Colorado, you're just going to fall short. This is a missed opportunity. I did not sprinkle on the money line. I did not. With San Jose, but they beat Carolina 4-1. Carolina was on a back-to-back spot, but we did have a pretty good result overall. The only thing that didn't cash was the full game over. We had first period over. We had San Jose first goal, first period. How beautiful of a bet was that? Plus 195 was the price on that. It was an outstanding price. We were all over that. We said, and we thought it was going to be Freddie Anderson. And that was really why we liked San Jose to get on the board early. But it turned out it turned into Pyotr Kochetkov instead. And even then, I said, I still like it. Kochetkov hasn't played much hockey lately. It's been out for a while. Could be rusty. Could give up a goal early. And that's exactly what we saw from him in that game against San Jose. So unfortunately, I did not pull the trigger on the money line. But I know Alex and I had the first goal, first period. We had San Jose goal in the first period as well, minus 120. We had San Jose team total over 2.5. So like I said, it was still a good result over. We just missed out on that big plus money with the full game victory, but that's okay. Still ended up being a pretty good result, 4-1 San Jose there in that game. Florida, that's a big weekend for the Florida Panthers as far as trying to get their season back on track. A back and forth game. Columbus, it's like that Breakfast Club song, right on track. Is that going to get you back? Is Florida going to get back now with this 4-1 win against the New York Islanders and the win before that against the Columbus Blue Jackets? We'll see about that. But like I said, it's a step in the right direction for Florida, getting 2 back-to-back home wins over the weekend. Dallas 3-2 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins in a shootout. That was a pretty competitive game. I did think Pittsburgh had a chance in that game, but obviously it went to a shootout. Stars get the victory. Stars, man, it's been pretty impressive what they've been able to do. They're still missing a couple key pieces, of course. Don't forget, there's still no Duchesne. There's still no Thomas Harley on the back end, but it's been such a very strong run for the Stars, even amid a bunch of injuries for them. We fell, short on this one with Columbus. We thought maybe they could catch Washington off the long West Coast trip, jump on them early. It didn't happen. Washington ends up with a 2-0 shutout victory. Logan Thompson pretty solid in net. Jack Reeves was okay, but unfortunately Jack Reeves can't score goals for his hockey team. So that's where Columbus ended up having the issues, and they get shut out by 2-0. I got to admit, that's an impressive win for Washington. That was a pretty bad spot coming off the long Cali road trip, only 48 hours, and still were able to take down the Jackets there in that game. Best bet winner with St. Louis, Montreal over. The series history overs have been just phenomenal. It's been one after another cashing in. If you've been banking on these matchups where the head-to-head series has been strong to the over, it's been just one after another has been hitting. And we got that with St. Louis and Montreal. 4-3 Blues win in that game. That's a nice weekend for St. Louis. Back-to-back wins against Ottawa and Montreal. Can they springboard this into a longer extended win streak is the question, because they're going to need one if they're going to have any if they're going to have any chance to get back into things. Vegas and the Rangers again fall at home, lose in overtime. Jack Eichel with a brilliant goal in overtime to win that game 3-2 in overtime. Rangers again lose at home and once again score 2 goals or less at home. It's been a familiar refrain for the New York Rangers at home so far this season. And then the last game, I mean, Chicago should have just said, you know what, checks in the mail, Anaheim, take your 2 points, because that was awful. That was pretty bad. But that's not just a team playing bad. You have to separate when a team's playing bad and a team's got nothing. Sometimes your legs, you don't have your legs, you don't have your energy, you just don't have it. And when you don't have your skating legs, and that's what it was. Chicago didn't have their skating legs. When you're getting outshot after the first 2 periods, 44-13, you clearly don't have your fucking legs. Okay, you clearly have nothing left in the tank. And it's, they had the 2 games with LA. It was 3rd and 4 on the road. I'm not making an excuse. It's just a reality. When you watch them, you could clearly see that team was gassed, had nothing in the tank last night against Anaheim, and they played like it. They get bombed by a score of 7-1 in that game. I kind of feel bad. We've thrown a lot of shit. We've shoveled a lot of shit in his direction over the years, but I felt bad for Soderblom. He was trying his best to keep them in it, early in that game, but at the same point in time, once the floodgates opened in that second period, that was it. And like I said, 7-1 Anaheim. That's a game that Jeff Blashill and the Blackhawks coaching staff, they're going to want to burn the tape of that one last night. 7-1 Anaheim getting the victory. But let's talk about the positive of that game. This Anaheim team, man, if they're going to start holding teams, now last night Chicago was bad, but if they're going to start holding teams to 20 shots on goal, my goodness, that's luck. I mean, I am so impressed with this Ducks team. Leo Carlson for the bargain bin special for Alex B. Smith, over 1.5 goals at 13-1 was the price on that. Great call there from Alex. And like I said, Seneca, Beckett Seneca scored for Anaheim again. The 19-year-old kid with the 50-year-old voice, as I like to say. But yeah, he was very good again for the Ducks. But man, they're impressive. And this is an impressive back-to-back victories for Anaheim. They got just steamrolled by Utah, and look how they responded. Beat a red-hot Washington team, and obviously crushed Chicago last night. Alex, your thoughts on the Sunday board? I know you have probably a few things to say about those Blackhawks. They had nothing.
Yeah, they had nothing, and you're going to have that from teams. All 32 teams in the league are going to have no-shows attached, and that's probably the 3rd true no-show we've seen from the Hawks this season, which is impressive because if you're talking about last season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons ago, there would have been about 5, 6, 7 no-shows already into the first, second week of December. So you're still seeing progress, but you're seeing another bad second period. You're seeing, like you said, a team that, like I said, had no life, but they weren't really doing a whole lot of blocking for Soderblom either. Soderblom had to make a lot of big saves despite giving up 7 goals. Like I said, it wasn't all just him having a bad night. He gave up a couple of softies, but when you're facing, arguably it seems like 5 shots a minute, it's kind of tough, to just continue to be a brick wall. Now, the biggest takeaway, like you said, is how Anaheim was playing, especially once they get on the roll and they get up to a 4-0, 5-0 lead. They're still blocking shots. They're still clogging up the lanes. They're still doing everything right defensively. They didn't take off and say, hey, we're up 5 goals, and then all of a sudden this game goes haywire and it's a 9-4 final. They played a full 60-minute effort in all 3 phases in all 3 ways. Even when that game was well reached in Chicago, like I said, showed nothing. They still played their game, which is that's what Q demands of his teams, and that's a good sign to see because an Anaheim team, as young as they are, they easily could have taken off after the second period, and then the Hawks with that goal with Bertuzzi, and all of a sudden they start getting momentum back. They never let that happen because they kept playing defense. They kept clogging things up for Chicago. Chicago just never had a chance, even if they wanted to. It was just an all-out domination by Anaheim on top of a bad effort by Chicago, and so that's you're supposed to do that. And like I said, coming off of how bad that game was on national TV against Utah, to now have back-to-back wins, that's great for Anaheim. Confidence building. This isn't just we had this great run in October, November, and now here we are kind of falling back. No, they're still playing for keeps. They're still playing like one of the better teams in the West. So kudos to them and getting that big of a win. The San Jose Carolina game, like I say, it couldn't have gone any better. The only thing would have been if we grabbed money line, but team total, first goal in the first period overall, knocking those out. And like you said, the goaltending's weird because the guy that really is the 3rd string goalie in this rotation for Carolina, I believe he's the best goaltender. That's Brandon Bussey. I don't trust in Kochetkov.
That too.
Definitely don't trust in Anderson. He can hardly stay healthy, but he has his flashes.
Chekhov's taken a downturn since the latter part of last year.
I'm saying Brandon Bussey is actually the better of these three goalies. If we're really being honest, and the more consistent option of the three, I think you roll with Brandon Bussey. And that's something that Brendan Moore and company guys have really figured out down the line, because as great as this might work in the regular season, at some point you're going to have to settle on two goalies, not three.
You always say
and
too many
then
cooks in the kitchen right now.
that's right. You're going to have to settle on two instead of three, and then as you get into the playoffs, you got to pick your one. So you're putting yourself in a situation where you're going to have to whittle something down, and do you make a move? Who's there's teams that need goalies, but is Edmonton going to ship off a bunch of people to get Frederick Anderson? Or Pyotr Kochetkov, who's been kind of streaky. It's weird. Carolina's got to figure this out. They're in a good spot for now, but down the road, they're gonna have to ask themselves, who's the guy? And I don't think it's either one of their veteran guys. I think Bussey's the guy that they should be rolling on. I've said that for a while, but now looking at how Kochetkov played, how Anderson's played, if Bussey has another good game, then at some point you have to make a decision with him, and then you're gonna have to make a even tougher decision of, do you get rid of Anderson, or do you send Kochetkov down, or do you get rid of Kochetkov? So that's something that we have to keep an eye on for sure. Pittsburgh, Dallas, another game that I completely wanted to stay away from because I felt it could have been a tight game. Dallas gets the 2 points there. Same thing with Colorado. Those are teams that finding ways to win, good teams finding ways to win in tough games where a mediocre team or an average team might get caught up and lose that game. And so those make it tough when you're seeing those big favorites, but still definitely looking at a Dallas team that is getting more momentum. And like I said, the easier they can get those 3-2, those grittier wins, then that's how, the easier those bigger wins will come against some of those weaker teams. So, it's interesting to see how this Central's now starting to shape out, with Chicago kind of playing down over the last week, Minnesota kind of being in this up and down territory, but now Colorado and Dallas, over the last couple of days, just scrapping through and getting some tough victories.
Yeah, they're going to run away and hide from the rest of that division at this rate, the Avalanche and the Stars, with what they've obviously been doing, and leave everyone in their dust. There's no question. Yeah, for me with Carolina, it's the ABA philosophy for me. Anyone but Anderson. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, I've not been impressed at all with Freddie Anderson. Cripple Creek has not been doing well in net this season for the Carolina Hurricanes. But again, it's Rod Brindamore's decision, and he's been loyal to a fault at times with Frederick Anderson. Perlo, your thoughts on what we saw Sunday?
Yeah, yesterday's card is a good example of why you watch shows, this finest show in the land right here. And and get information, because when I did my show the night before, I was like, this card, I don't know what the hell to do. And I thought about it the next day, but somebody brought up a good who at West Coast, bringing up those unders on Sunday.
Now, I got to put that on screen. I'm going to put that on screen. That's worth.
I got that under because of that on the Colorado Philly game. I had to sweat it, but I got it. I had a little bit on Philly, didn't get it. The Carolina game, I went against it and I didn't get the over, but that's all right. We had a little bit on the San Jose and stuff like that. So that one worked out really well. With that in mind, I wasn't really sure about the Capitals Columbus game because they're very over. So I just went with, well, you brought it up, Greaves. I took Greaves over saves in that. I thought Washington coming back off that road trip, they always shoot. Maybe they're a little tired. They're not going to have as much sting on their shot. So I went for Greaves over saves and got that one as well. Montreal, I said before the season started that Montreal was probably going to struggle against teams that made the playoffs last year. It's not going to be as easy for them this year. And I thought yesterday was kind of a good example of that. It's that they got to learn how to play a different system than just one. They're try to get possession in the neutral zone and swing the puck around. The teams just seem to know it now, even St. Louis. That being said, they probably should have won that game, but you got to get more shots than that on a tired St. Louis team. I took Binnington over saves, and thank God I got it. It was like the last shot in seconds. It was only 22.5. You got a tired St. Louis team coming in. You should be shooting from everywhere. They are passing way too much in the offensive zone right now. They got great shooters in Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Caulfield. Shoot the freaking puck, man. So that was as far as I'm concerned, that was a terrible loss for them. Also, wouldn't have had the over if I didn't listen to the show yesterday. You guys showed that I took the over. That was your best bet. You've been nailing them with series history, stuff like that. I mean, if you didn't have that and you just looked at the game, you wouldn't probably have taken the over if you didn't look at the series.
Yeah, the Blues can't buy an over to save themselves until last night, and they're playing a team that they constantly go over with head to head, Montreal, and sure enough, there you go, an over.
Yeah, so I personally had Anaheim everything yesterday. I just thought that was a terrible spot for Chicago. I kind of went the way I thought. I had team total over 3.5 as soon as it came out. They lost to Chicago twice in a row. Talk about revenge spot. That was a revenge spot from hell. And they knew that they had him in a bad spot.
Last night.
So they were going to beat the living bejesus out of him. And honestly, I don't think they should have, because now you got the revenge spot the other way. You should have took it easy on them after the 5-0. But they, like you said, they were playing like they were winning the cup after they were up 5-0. That's not a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. That's just all you're doing is embarrassing a very good Chicago team the next time you go there.
And here's the thing. I don't know if those guys are going to hold on to it for another year. That was their last regular season meeting. Now, the interesting thing would be, unless they face each other again in the playoffs, which would make it a hell of a lot more interesting even then. But I doubt that's the case. It's more likely they won't meet again until next year.
I don't know, man.
Some of those players might remember that. You're right.
Everybody's talking about these two teams right now. I think these two teams are going to remember each other.
It could be.
This is becoming a bit of a rivalry about the young teams coming up right now. And next year, I'm going to write this in my journal. When Anaheim goes to Chicago, I'm taking Chicago all day here. Because that you don't embarrass a team like that. You don't play like it's a Stanley Cup when you're up. However,
I don't know if it was a purposeful I don't think if they set out to just
I don't think so.
On like that. If you're Chicago though, the counter argument is stop them if you're that bothered by it.
Right. Yeah. It was a perfect storm. I don't think it was. Now, had this been the first meeting in Chicago and Quenneville's return to the United Center and they beat them 7-1. Might be a little different.
Then it would be really bad.
Might be a little different. But knowing how the last meeting was before this one, it's just, hey, we two good teams and one team had a night off and the other team was ready to pounce.
Right. Yep.
What I'm saying is, to me, if I'm the players there, it really looked like Anaheim wanted to give it to them pretty hard. And I'm going to remember that.
Oh, yeah, that was a cantankerous game in Chicago last weekend. No question about that.
Yeah.
You can tell that was they wanted a little payback. They also wanted to get Leo a hat trick. I do agree with that, Jonathan. No doubt they were trying to get it to him. There's no doubt he's been great. He's just he was coming on last year and now he's taking it to another level this year. Leo Carlson. It's really, really great to see what is happening with him and how well he's playing.
One more thing about watching the show and how I hit something yesterday.
Yeah,
both of you were not sure about the Dallas-Pittsburgh game. And I have noticed when I'm listening to you guys and you're both not sure about a game, I slam the draw. It almost always is a draw. Okay. And sure as heck, I got to keep a record of that. Ian and Alex
don't we're really lukewarm on a game, nothing strong, bet the draw. That seems to be what's happening.
Exactly. Okay. Bet the draw. So I bet the draw and I got it.
I'll have to remember.
I also had Pittsburgh. I had Pittsburgh for a little bit. But
I'll say this to anybody watching as well. You find a pattern watching this show. Whatever the pattern may be, and it's helping you win bets, by all means, stick with the fucking pattern. Whatever works.
Well, I've been watching you guys for years, and I've noticed that over time. I don't know how often it is, but when you're both off a game, generally, it quite often, especially if it looks like a draw spot. You got Pittsburgh, Dallas, it's like a draw spot. So I took the draw.
Good stuff. All right. On we go to Monday. It's a not solid Monday card. We got a good one to start. It's on Monday. It's only on Prime. Tampa Bay and Toronto, your Prime Monday Night Hockey matchup for this Monday. We've got Tampa Bay minus 130 now, road favorites, 6.5 the total. So we've seen some money come in on Tampa Bay, and a lot of it is because of the lineup information involving Tampa Bay. huge boosts to their lineup returning tonight. Obviously, it's arguably their two best forwards. Well, outside of Brandon Hagel, I think we have to now call Brandon Hagel one of their best forwards. No question about it. But after him, who are your next best forwards? Probably Braden Point, probably Nikita Kucherov. And both of them are back tonight after missing the last game against the New York Islanders. Well, Point's been out for a while. He's missed several games, so he's back from injury, and Kucherov missed just the Islander game, and he's back tonight as well for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And obviously, without both of them, we just saw them get shut out by the New York Islanders on Saturday. So they'll be very happy to have both of those players back in the lineup here tonight. Should give them a big boost. And they got Victor Hedman back a couple games ago, the captain on the blue line. Still without Chernak and McDonough. And big news and a negative. It's not all good news. That's big, obviously, Point and Kucherov, but not all good news on the injury front for Tampa Bay. Andrei Vasilevsky placed on IR today. For sure going to miss the first two games of this road trip. He will not be available tonight or tomorrow when they play Montreal. So that is definitely going to be a concern for Tampa Bay, obviously, because he's played so well. And now you're going to have to really rely on Jonas Johansson here in net. He's been good at times, but again, how many times have Alex and I said this about these goalies that are backups and then they start playing more? The bigger workload, and eventually teams figure them out. People know the tendencies. People know the weaknesses. I mean, the teams now, when they're scouting the opposing goalie, they're able to quickly find tendencies in the way a certain goalie plays. So the more Johansson plays, the more you worry about whether he's going to keep up playing as well as he has so far. So he'll be in net once again for Tampa Bay tonight. That means Brandon Halverson ends up moving in as the backup option now for Tampa Bay. Does he get in tomorrow against Montreal? Something we're going to have to wait and see on. Of course, for Toronto, still no Stolars, still no Woll, of course, who got injured against Carolina. So it'll be Dennis Hildeby. And I'll say this about Hildeby. He came in the third period against Carolina. He was great. And I thought he was great even in a tough loss to Montreal Saturday night. I thought he played really well. A couple big glove saves. I thought he played a really strong game in net for the Leafs. He's not the reason they lost against Montreal. They didn't score. Is what happened. So you look at this matchup here, and Toronto's been trending under. We know that of late. Since Craig Berube got after them for their defensive play, they've really committed at that end of the ice, and they played lower scoring hockey. I think that changes tonight because now you got Toronto off a loss to Montreal where they only scored one goal. Now they know we got to start scoring again now. You can't win scoring one goal. It's nice that we're focusing on defense, but one goal is not going to cut it. Not going to win a hockey game scoring just one goal. So I think there's more pace in this game tonight from a Toronto standpoint. You got Tampa off a shutout loss, and certainly I think we know that angle has been starting to heat up again. The first period and the full game over, the over by Fecta for teams off the shutout loss. So I like the over by Fecta. I like the full game over in this one more. Now I got 6 earlier today, minus 120. It's moved to 6.5, and all that movement was once Point and Kucherov were ruled in. That thing moved to 6.5. I still like the over. This is another series history over, guys. It is 5-0 to the over in the last 5 meetings between the Lightning and the Leafs. 7 of the last 8 meetings have had at least 7 goals scored. 7 of the last 8 head-to-head matchups. Lightning Leafs 7+ goals in the hockey game. So that's why at 6.5, I still like it. Even with the initial move here. So over by Fecta, liking the full game over, I should say, most of all. I also split. Now, obviously, Tampa's getting Point and Kucherov back, and I expect urgency from Tampa, but Toronto's owned this team. They've won 4 straight. They lost in the tough spot that we expected it to be against Montreal coming off a road trip. I expect Toronto to play a lot better. They've played Tampa well. I like the overs more, but I did a smaller split with Toronto money line and Toronto team total over 3.5 in this game. And the reason I like that team total on the Leafs, it's worth a shot. Look at the 4 meetings that they've won against Tampa, 4-5-5-5. They've scored at least 4 goals in every victory in the 4 straight against Tampa Bay. So I think that Leafs team total could hit here in this game tonight. And Nick Paul, who I always say in every Tampa game lately, I bet him to score a goal. Well, especially tonight because he's a Toronto killer. It's unbelievable how well this guy plays against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Alex, what do you think? Lightning, Leafs.
Yeah, and I'm seeing him right on the cusp at FanDuel at plus 300 on the bargain bin line there. So I'm sure there's some other people who are looking at grabbing him. But I like goals here as well. I did grab a 6. I got minus 122 this morning. The way I would play it now would be with the old Matty Robb special. You can combine the first period over 1.5 with the full game over 5.5 and still only lay $1.04 right now at FanDuel with that combination. So I will have that same game parlay as well, but I do endorse the over, even at 6.5, laying up to $1.10, $1.15. I think we see goals here. I think this definitely clears 7. So I'm going with the over here.
All right, good stuff. Perlo, Tampa Bay, Toronto.
This is I've been doing shows. I didn't realize that Kucherov and Point are in here. That certainly does change things. But I took the over too. Again, series history. These just over. I actually I had it before I knew that Kucherov and Point were in. So I'm even more confident of it now. That'll be my biggest play on here. Like you said, Toronto has been able to do well against Tampa Bay as of late, but this is I'd like to look back on that and see how many times Tampa's been coming in off of losses like this. That's the thing. I'd want to take a look at that because now Tampa's coming off of these losses. They're going to be going balls out. I think it's first period. I think Tampa Bay first period puck line here is probably something that I really like. I really think they're going to be coming out hot. Toronto might be taking it back a little bit. Coming off that Montreal game. I like Tampa Bay first period puck line. I also like the over first period and possibly both teams to score, but I really do like the over here. I could see Tampa Bay scoring 2. I could see Toronto coming back and getting a goal in this one. I think this starts off quick right away. This is not going to be a slow as you go start to the game. So I got something you can do here. I for sure think both teams are going to score 2 goals here. So you can go to FanDuel, get both teams to score 2 goals and over 1.5 first period at plus 106. I really like that play. I think then you're not really taking a side here as much as for the full game. I think this could be tight. And the other thing I like in this game a lot for the very reasons I just said. Now, if it was me, if I were Tampa Bay, I would be, but this was before Kucherov and Point were in. I would have been fading this game and getting a psychological advantage over Toronto and just saying, oh, if you win, screw you. I'll see you in the playoffs. But now that they're bringing Point and Kucherov in, I think this is going to be hotly contested game. I'm going to take the draw on this as well. I just think this is going to be super tight. I think Tampa would when it comes right down to it, they'd be happy with the draw here with Montreal coming up. They want to get at least 1 point in this game because that Montreal game is going to be pretty tough on the back-to-back with, like you said, Halverson. And so that's going to be a really tough game for them. So I think they at least want to get a point here. And I just think it's going to be such a tight game that one person is up in the third. It's going to be a nervous third for the other team, and the other one could score. I could just see a 3-3 go into overtime. Take a player from both sides. Alex is awesome at that. Pick a player from both sides to score in overtime here. Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Going back to Cali. Jonathan Davis is doing that with Cali Yarncroke. 2 goals against Johansson the last time he faced him. Let's see, that's a great find. Why not? I'll sprinkle on that. That's worth a shot, no doubt. And he's one of those players too that early in the season he was like on a bit of a heater early on, and now of course lately he's been in and out of the lineup. But I like the angle too of he's been a healthy scratch for 4 games in a row. And now he's back in the lineup for Toronto, Cali Yarncroke. And he's got that track record of success against Johansson. So that's probably worth it at that price, 100%.
Isn't Paul a killer against Toronto, dude?
He is, 100%. 5 goals in the last 6 games against Toronto. And, he just, for some reason, he likes playing he's a great player. He scores against everybody more now as he gets better and better. But definitely he has a lot of success against the Leafs. Matthew Nyes, Nyes might be worth a look. He has played well against Tampa. As much as Nick Paul's played well against Toronto in the past, Matthew Nyes has really played well against Tampa Bay in the past. So he might be worth a shot to have a big game here tonight. All right, Buffalo, Calgary. We've got even money, minus 110 both sides, 6 the total in this game. I'm not betting this fucking game. There's not a chance I'm doing that here when you look at Buffalo and Calgary here. Calgary, look, Wolf is playing a little bit better here, a lot better. He's last 3 starts have been great. He's gave up just the 1 goal against Minnesota and shut out Utah in his last start. But these 2 teams are just so freaking stupid and schizophrenic and inconsistent that it would be just so Calgary off 2 straight home wins and Wolf in great form to lose tonight, Wolf to play poorly, and for Buffalo off 2 losses, haven't been good, haven't been scoring. the last 2 games to show up here and win. It's a stupid game. 2 teams that are just schizophrenic. Pass. Alex, Buffalo, Calgary, anything? I'm serious, man. I got no
microphone working.
0 in this game betting.
Yeah. No, there's no reason to bet this game either. If anything, watch it and see if something pops up live. But I haven't been betting Buffalo games in any form or fashion. I haven't been really bullish on backing Calgary. Last time I tried to fade Calgary, I get beat when Minnesota no-showed against them. So this could be a game that goes haywire and it's 6-5, or it could be another one of these 1-0 boring snooze fest we've seen of late. So it's a pass for now. Maybe jumping in live.
Yep, I feel that way. I'm looking for maybe a prop I can give out, but even then it's kind of stretching things. Perlo, what do you think here? Sabres, Flames.
Oh, I'm always going to find bets for sure.
Of course, yeah.
Buffalo Sabres suck at first periods. Absolutely freaking horrible. Calgary actually good at first periods at home. I'm going to take Calgary first period money line, and I'm going to take them puck line first period at plus 170. Like I said, not big bets. I also think that Buffalo, one thing I do know about them is they are the worst look ahead. And also they're the worst revenge teams ever. Do you know that this team is 0-8 after getting slammed with 5 slam from a team that scored 5 goals on them previously? Calgary did that to Buffalo last time they were there. You think this was a revenge spot, but no, it's not. They are going to look ahead to Edmonton. All these young guys are going to have McDavid's. They're bringing out their McDavid jerseys and sleeping with them at nighttime because they get to play McDavid after this. They're going to look totally ahead to this game. So at least Calgary is veterans that want to win. They actually think they can do something. They have a belief within themselves. I think Calgary wins this game. There's very little doubt to me that they will. I will take a shot at Bowen Byram. You were talking about him before. He's a Vancouver boy. Vancouverites hate Calgary. They freaking can't stand him, and he's been scoring. So I'll give him a shot at plus 850. But most of it is, I got another one here too. One of these teams isn't going to score 3 goals. Either Wolf is going to play really well and Buffalo won't. And usually when Buffalo doesn't score 2 goals previously, they usually don't score the next game either. So, and either that or Calgary will shoot like 1 million shots and not get the 3 goals, and Buffalo will win this. So I'm going to take both teams to score goals, and no goals in the first 5. I don't trust Buffalo to come out hot here, and I don't trust Calgary to score at the best of times. So you can get that at minus 108. I'm putting a quarter unit on that. That's just fun little stuff. I'm not going to put a lot on this, but I want to have a bet on because it's fun. I'll probably end up watching it something, so I'll put some bets on that.
Yeah, how many times Jordan Greenway makes sense, but do you know how many times I've tried to bet that guy to score a goal when he's been on the top line, and he never does. So I get it. Maybe tonight's the night because I don't think I'll be betting it, but tonight will be the night he finally strikes the iron. Or the iron strikes here with Greenway. It is plus 750, and he is on the top line. Like, it is a great price. I'm not saying don't bet it, but how many times have I bought into this guy on the top line and still doesn't put a puck in the ocean? So that's the issue with Jordan Greenway right here. I don't mind Zucker. Zucker's been on a roll right now, and Jonathan mentioning the tendencies of him scoring the first goal, too, of late for the Sabres. So make sure, too, you look for the first team goal. Don't just rely on the first goal for the game overall.
Right.
Look for the
split it up.
Goal. Yeah.
Yes, definitely split that up. I've made that mistake and cost myself some money by not grabbing that first home team or first road team goal at times.
Oh, here's one. He's a solid offensive player, and he looks like he might be heating up for Calgary. I'll give you a prop on their side. Connor Zary, 2 games in a row with a goal, plus 430. Not bad, considering he's starting to heat up. All right, next up, we've got Los Angeles, Utah. We've got the pretty much even money here, minus 110 both sides. The total here, 5.5 across the board in this game. There's a couple things I can't believe I'm doing here in this LA-Utah game. I can't believe I'm actually interested in backing the Kings. And you guys know I hate this team, and I hate their coach even more. But the fact remains, this is a pretty lousy spot for Utah, a spot that's been traditionally this season brutal for teams in this situation. 6-game road trip, first game home. It's been awful for teams in this spot. And now they get the news Logan Cooley, one of their best forwards, is out. So it's real tough sledding, in my opinion, here for Utah. coming into this game here tonight, after that long road trip. And LA's in that spot I often talk about where I like backing teams when they have a rough go, they're losing, the losing streak is on, and then they finally get a win, and a convincing win at that, when they beat Chicago 6-0 on Saturday night. And, now they go on the road, and the Kings have been better all year on the road than they have been at home. So that's something to keep in mind. Last year it was at home, back the Kings, and stay away on the road. This year it's kind of the opposite, where they've been better on the road but poor at home, and it is the mom's trip for the LA Kings. Yes, I saw that. So, you can't let mom down, can't let mama down when you're going on the road. Now, look, teams aren't undefeated on the mom's trip across the NHL, but there's still that added layer of incentive and motivation when mom is in attendance watching you. So I'm going to go with first period full game splits here. Kings first period money line, Kings full game money line split. First period over, full game over split, because we've got Utah coming off a shutout loss, and we've got, believe it or not, I couldn't believe this, 2 of the last 3 meetings, LA-Utah, have gone over the total, including the game that was in Utah last year. You wouldn't think overs with these 2 teams, but you got Utah, and I read a great quote from Andre Tourigny about the, let me see if I can find it. It was a great quote talking about how focus for Utah seems to be, we got to start scoring more, because what we're doing right now offensively is not going to cut it right now. Of course, they're coming off the shutout loss to Calgary. Let me see if I can find that. If you want to score more in the league, you need to get in the eyes of the goalie. You need to disturb the defense a little bit. It's a work in progress for us. We need to have more speed, execution. We have to move the puck quicker, move the puck into speed, and start doing that more. That's where we're at our best. So maybe this is a push pace and try to really kickstart, an offense that's been up and down here tonight in this game. So factor that with the shutout loss angle for Utah. I thought, again, it's scary with these 2 teams thinking over, but I did bet a small over by Fecta and a small Kings money line, first period full game money line split. It's just a bad spot. These have been bad spots for teams constantly this year. 6+ game road trip and coming back home. Alex, what do you think here? Kings, Mammoth.
So this morning I went with dog and draw, and you grab the draw. Please shop around for Kings draws. Try and get it plus 300. I see a plus 310 in BetMGM. I actually got plus 305, and that's about as good as it's going to get. I'm seeing plus 290 at FanDuel. I saw plus 280 somewhere else. So shop around when you're trying to find Kings draws. The books are trying to screw us. But I do like this money line spot. As like says, there's a terrible scheduling spot for Utah coming off the long road trip, and the Kings need to continue the momentum from the other night with that big win against Chicago, right? Like, you can't have that win and then all of a sudden,
you're going to win that game and put your feet up and say, we're good now. We got that win. No, you got fucking work to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because like JD's saying, the clock on Hiller is certainly ticking louder. That the hot seat's getting as warm as it's ever been. And if you lose this 4-2-5-2, you may not be flying back to LA with a job. It's quite possible.
He's
so I think
his job is surviving game to game right now.
It is. It is, and I think he'll be able to stick around for another day. I think they get the win here, but I do have a little piece of the draw, and I'll be looking for that over by Fecta in game at 5.5, cheaper prices. I want to see Utah actually execute that pace that they're talking about, and if I do see that, then I can jump in and grab better prices adjusted on both.
I hear you. If I had a dime for all the times I heard coaches and players say that nonsense and jargon and BS, and then not follow
all the things they wish for, I wish for fucking what. 10 million in the bank right now, a couple of hot chicks in my bedroom. That ain't going to happen overnight. Like, you got to work at it. So, we can wish for all the things in the world. You got to execute.
You can't just talk about it. You got to be about it, as they often say. We'll see if Utah can practice what they're trying to preach tonight. Play a little quicker, be a little more assertive, score some more goals. What do you think here in this one, Perlo, LA, Utah?
I haven't even wished for that. I had no hope for that there, Alex. So at least you had enough confidence to wish. I thought about it for a while. And
you better not wish for something like that. This is
at least don't tell your wife about it.
Yeah. Oh no, she knows. That's why she's with me. There's no way I'm cheating on her. Anyways, don't need to worry about that shit.
Good stuff, Perlo. Good stuff.
Okay, so you bring up some really good points, and like you said about the coach saying we got to score more. Well, you don't want to score. This isn't a game, okay? Go out. He's gonna go out and cheer them on with dead legs to go score more today. That's what you're going to do. That's the way you're going to want to play this game. He did say you need to get bodies in front of the net and all that kind of stuff like that. So I already liked it, but I like it even more now because that means they're going to be going back to the point and trying to crash the net. I mean, that's basically he thinks they're playing around with the puck too much and they got to shoot more. So there's several props I like in this. Sergachev over 1.5 shots is -120. And in this game, if they're going to do what the coach said, that's probably what they're going to do. You have that situation. Keller got back home now and he's been with his family. And he's going to, all of that. Also, they didn't get to practice here. They had 1 day off, and they're going to go on. So what are they practicing? How to play offensively better. But I like Keller over 2.5 shots. I think he will be shooting today for reasons like that. Funky little one is Carcione over shots. Believe it or not, he's been shooting a lot. And you can get that at -130. As far as the Kings are concerned, I agree with you about the over, but I'm just not so sure about the Utah scoring over. Maybe one. I like LA just team total over here. You can get that at -115. I think they're going to have dead legs, and especially if they're listening to the coach and trying to play a really offensive game here with dead legs, LA might just slam the crap out of this game. So I like LA. I like LA first period. I like LA. Actually, no, sorry. I like LA second period more because Utah may come out with legs in the first, but I think they'll kill themselves out by the second. LA is a really good second period team. So I'm going to take LA second period and LA full game. And then I have LA team total over. I might even sprinkle a little bit on Utah team total under. You can get a 3 at -135. For Utah team total under here. And I just don't think Kemper in net compared to I don't think they're going to be able to get 3 goals here. I may push, but hopefully I'm right about everything I just said and you hit your over at the same time. Maybe they scored 2 goals or something like that. So
yeah, it should be interesting. Like I said, with this game, it's like I said, it's scary to bet LA and scary to bet overs in LA games. But we're diving into it full force here with the Kings and the
team total.
It's a great spot for LA. It's not a bad over spot too, in my opinion. It really isn't because of the shutout angle. And like I said, I went back and looked. Last two meetings went over the total. That's part of it too. They did. So, like I said, hopefully, and it's 5.5 at even money, right? You're
Two teams that haven't been scoring, playing each other often go over because they're focusing on scoring. Yeah. So, maybe I will throw on the over there. I'm going to throw on the over.
And then Tourigny's quote saying we got to play with more speed and more pace. So, like I said, we'll see if they actually practice what they're.
And even if they do that, coming off the long road trip, they could have that pace and speed early, but then their legs give late because they're playing a little harder early. Right. So,
yeah. I just don't think they're capable in this spot to do that. They're just the legs are going to give out, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to stick with now. Fiala is worth a shot, I think, maybe for prop. Fogel's back. It looks like Fogel's back tonight for the Kings. So, and he had been scoring before he was out. He had scored in 4 of their last 10 games. So 6 of 25 is not a bad price. And I'm going to stick with him because he's still on the top line. Alex Laferriere, the man from New Jersey, not Quebec. New Jersey, Alex Laferriere. I always like throwing that in because it's just amazing how many people think he's just French Canadian. It's just crazy. Alex Laferriere for the LA Kings there on the top line, probably worth a look here. Now, Cooley out, so there's a little shifting going on in the top 6 here. It looks like Keller, Schmaltz, Peterka, Gunther, Hayton, and Daniil Boo are going to be the there you go, are going to be the second line. So again, the youngster may be worth a shot there as well. Detroit
His assist is plus 280, and he's a guy that's digging it out to get to Kemper or get to the front, and it's plus 280. That's a damn good price up there.
Yeah, not bad at all. Like I said, anything with Laferriere is probably good value. Him up on the top line. All right, Detroit, Vancouver. Detroit -125, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. You got Kevin Lankinen in net for Vancouver, confirmed, expected to be Cam Talbot for the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit, all of a sudden, has been one of these teams that, they've been playing, they've been scoring, but they've been giving up as well. We look at the last few games, they've scored 4-5-5, while they've given up 3+, though. That's the problem. In 8 straight games, 7-1 to the over for the Detroit Red Wings in those last 8 games. So this is an over for me. I did bet it. I only bet full game here on this one. Over 6 at -120 this morning. This is another one like the Toronto game we talked about earlier. It's gone to 6.5 pretty much everywhere. But I still like the over a little bit. I am concerned because Vancouver's kind of gone the other way the last few games, where their games now are trending under again after that crazy over streak. They're 4-0-1 to the under in the last 5 games, and they've stopped scoring 2 goals or less 4 of the last 5 games. They did perk up though the other night against the brick wall. So maybe that's a sign Vancouver's ready to come out of the offensive doldrums. When you put 4 goals past Jesper Wallstedt, who looked impenetrable, for several games in a row, maybe that's a sign that Vancouver's ready to come to life again with their.
Or that's a rookie who finally had a bad game.
Or it was due for one. Because as much as we love Wallstedt, he's not gonna be pitching 2 goals or less and .950 save percentage every game the rest of the season. That's just not going to happen. So I still like it at 6.5 over, worth a shot. The side, at this price, I could only endorse Detroit, but the problem is Vancouver off all those losses and they finally win. And how I feel about teams in those spots. Sometimes when you finally snap a losing streak and you win, you parlay it into another win. So maybe Vancouver gets a little bump from finally seeing a victory the other night against Minnesota. We'll see. So just the over full game for me. Maybe a sprinkle on the draw, too, just because we do have some pretty significant draw history with these two teams. A lot of overtimes in recent head-to-head meetings, so the draw might be worth a second look. Alex, what do you think here, Detroit, Vancouver?
That's my only look. I got the draw at MGM plus 333. 3 of the last 4 meetings have gone past regulation between these two teams. We've also seen an alternating pattern with the Red Wings, on, off into overtime. So this would suggest that this one goes past regulation. Get the best price available at BetMGM plus 333 with the draw.
All right, Perlo, Red Wings, Canucks.
Well, I mean, if Vancouver can't score on this defense, then it's probably time to pack up. Detroit's defense is absolutely deplorable. It's brutal. So I think Vancouver will get theirs here. I like the over in this game. I also like I kind of like the team total over. I got 3 and 3.5 split for Detroit. Detroit has been scoring quite a bit here. I don't think they're going to come out and try to shut Vancouver down, or they may try, but they'll end up having to pick up the pace and score. Vancouver's just roster-wise is in a bad spot, and I think this is Detroit here. So I took Detroit money line. What did I have for props here? Team total over 3 money line, and I got the over 6. That's right. So I did get the over 6 on this. Still kind of support it at 6.5, but that's pretty much what I have. I'll look at props later. That's what it was. I haven't really taken a look at some serious props in this game. So
can I read off a stat line to you guys? 10-1 with a 1.56 goals against average, a 943 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in 11 games. Anyone know who that is?
Is it someone against this specific team in this matchup?
No, it's someone who should be playing for the Detroit Red Wings. It's Sebastian Coso. Those are his goalie numbers in Grand Rapids right now.
Yeah.
Where is he? What is this guy like blackballed Todd McClellan in some way, or I don't know what the hell's happening? Or Steve Yzerman punishing him for some unknown reason?
I've said on this program for 2 years this man should be up with Detroit. Yeah. And he's fucking crushing it with Grand Rapids right now. I just wanted to point that out.
You can't get a sniff with these 2 old veteran stiffs ahead of him here. Gibson.
Let's go with Gibson and Talbot. Okay.
Yeah. Detroit likes to, or Steve Yzerman likes to overcook his players.
Wow. I didn't know he was playing that well down there. And I know he's
31, 16, and 5 combined this season and last season.
Yeah. Wow.
But John Gibson's the answer.
Oh, I'm telling you what, guys, about Yzerman. The Red Wing, he's adored by Red Wing fans from his playing days, obviously. Yeah. All-time great Red Wing. They loved, leader of leaders, great captain, great career. But even the most lovable Yzerman fans in Detroit, they're getting pissed. They're getting really frustrated. They're getting angry with certain things.
You can undo what you've done as a player, as a GM. Ask Bulls fans with John Paxson and White Sox fans with Robin Ventura as a manager, for example. You can certainly undo all the great shit you've done with some really bad moves in the front office.
You
look at Charlotte with Michael Jordan. You think they give 2 shits about what he did with the Bulls? You're a fucking pathetic owner.
Right.
Pathetic.
Your idea of bringing players up is to shackle them with Ben Sherratt every game. I mean, Seider is a good player because he's a good player. It had nothing to do with the fact that he had that anchor on his freaking wing. And then, fortunately for him, Edvinsson got good enough. And now this Paterka, or no, what's his name? Pelika, right? Pelika kid, he's got to be shackled with him this whole time. It's sad to watch. I love Steve Yzerman. Had a poster of him on my wall, just like Jonathan Toews I talked about last show. But come on, this is getting embarrassing, dude. He's making some really bad moves there in Detroit.
Yeah. All I'll say to this, Jonathan, is everyone's watched The Simpsons, right? After every Simpsons episode, they do the shh, dun 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 Gracie Films at the end of every Simpsons episode. That's all I'll say about that. I'm saving it for later, so you know where I'm going with that later in the show. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The old man JVR, James Van Beesbrook. It's now 3 straight games with a goal now for him for the Detroit Red Wings. So, like I said, definitely. Heating up right now. He's got a little offense still in that tank of his, JVR, at the moment for the Detroit Red Wings. So props as well for that game. Finney, is we saw him score the other day in that top line spot again for the Detroit Red Wings with Larkin and with Raymond. So don't mind taking a shot there as well. Here's one I'm going to throw out there too. He scored the other night against Minnesota. He's centering the second line. It looks like Sherwood and Kane. Atu Ratu right now for the Vancouver Canucks. I think someone that's going to get a little opportunity up on the lineup. So don't mind maybe sprinkling a little bit for him to find the back of the net. Because look, Vancouver did finally score some goals against Minnesota, and Detroit's not keeping anybody off the scoreboard right now. So it's probably worth it to have a few Canucks in your portfolio as far as props tonight. All right, final game for this Monday slate, Minnesota, Seattle. Wild minus 135, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Obviously, with Minnesota, we've talked about how we prefer this team with Wallstead, but finally Wallstead lost the other night against the Vancouver Canucks, and probably the alternation of goalies will continue. I would expect Philip Gustafsson to be the goalie tonight for the Minnesota Wild in this game. Meanwhile, you've got Seattle coming off a 4-3 loss to the Seattle Kraken in their last game, so they'll be looking to bounce back here in this matchup against the Minnesota Wild. I don't know. Minnesota, I took them against Vancouver, and that was very disheartening to play like that, honestly, after Hines kind of read them the riot act after the loss to the Calgary Flames. But like I said, Seattle's a hard team to back. 5 straight losses, the 4-3 loss to Detroit in their last game. The draw is really the only thing I'm kind of leaning with here in this game as far as side or total, anything in that regard. I could see a kind of a tight, competitive, 1-goal game with a chance to go to overtime. Here's the thing with Seattle's offense: they've scored 3 and 4 in their last 2 games. They've both gone over the total, but they're giving up just a shit ton of goals right now. I mean, they've given up 4+ in 3 straight games. They've given up 17 goals in their last 3 games. Not what you want to see. Problem is, Minnesota's offense has just freaking disappeared on this road trip. 4 goals in the 3 games on this road trip. So Seattle's shaky, crumbling D all of a sudden, which has got to be keeping Lane Lambert up at night because defense is his forte, and he's seeing this team give up 17 goals. And I'm worried about Decord. Decord's just still. He's lost some mojo. He's lost some confidence. You could see it in his play right now. But is Minnesota going to step up and actually take advantage of Seattle's struggling defensive game at the moment? Because they got 4 goals in 3 games on this road trip. So really, really challenging game for me. I just lean draw pregame. We'll see how this game starts out. Maybe we jump in live. Alex, what do you think here? Minnesota, Seattle.
Yeah, being the local game for me on television, this will definitely be a live game because even the draw right now, I'm seeing plus 310s to as low as plus 280. I don't know what the fuck FanDuel's doing today. But I would lean toward draw if I had to play anything pregame. I can wait and look for something live. I do have a bargain bin from this game.
All right, bargain bin coming from this game for Alex. Yeah, no confirmation. I'm sure it's going to be Gustafsson for Minnesota. The question is, who's it going to be for Seattle? Because some sites kind of are leaning with Philip Grubauer right now for this game tonight in goal for the Seattle Kraken. So we'll wait and see on that. Like I said, I know Decord's hit a bit of a wall here, and he's been struggling a little bit as of late, but not sure. It is daily faceoff says likely Philip Grubauer. So it's looking like we're going to see him. And like, oof. I might have to dabble in a Minnesota team total over if it's Grubauer. Not the money line. I would maybe say team total over. Take a shot that maybe finally they can see the puck go in a little bit tonight. But again, I'm waiting to see if it is indeed Grubauer. It's likely at the moment it will be him though. Perlo, what do you think? Minnesota, Seattle.
Yeah, I think that that Vancouver game was just absolutely. I think it's going to be Gus in that here, or do we don't know yet if it's going to be Wallstedt or Gus? I didn't hear
John Hines has been going back and forth consistently between.
Gus has been listed as probable, but nothing confirmed yet.
But it probably will be Gus. I think so.
Probably will be Gus. I mentioned last time. I mentioned yesterday. I'm going to keep an eye on it, or not yesterday. After the game about Wallstedt getting low shot volume, we talked about it before, and that was like the first game he got low shot volume, and it wasn't very good for him. But the one thing I like about this game is Seattle is just absolutely terrible at first periods. I don't know. They only won 2 first periods at home all year long. And Minnesota is actually really good. So I think, and plus after that Vancouver game, I think Minnesota should be angry here. That was a game they had to have. Like they should have had to have, in the sense that you don't lose to Vancouver. That's it. Like it was you had Wallstedt in and they played like they thought they already won the game almost. That's the way I saw it from. So I think they're going to come correct here in the first period. So I like Minnesota ML and puck line first period. It is a look ahead spot. They're going home to Dallas after this, and they've been on the road for a while. And Seattle is one of those don't give up teams, and they've got rest. So I think Seattle comes back and actually wins this game in the end of it. So I got a little something later for this game, but right now I got Minnesota puck line first period. I would look towards possibly Seattle after that happens. Minnesota has been fading down. It's been doing this a lot, actually.
They did it against Vancouver. They were up 1-0, and then that was it. Second period, third period, that was it. Yeah,
I could see it happening again. I know the coach is probably going to be really focusing on that, but when you got a look ahead spot, you're going home after this. You think you got the game. I could see Seattle doesn't give up. I could certainly see Seattle coming back, which is also why I also like the draw in this game. It's a great draw game.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. If anything, pregame is a little bit on the draw. Here's the thing where I stand with the last game of the road trip, which this is what it is for Minnesota tonight. It's the last game of their road trip. When they're off a loss coming into the last game of that road trip, then I could make a case maybe for backing them. It's the when I really get frightened, terrified, in fact, of backing a team in the final game of the road trip is when they're off a win or a couple of wins. Then they get that sense of, mission accomplished. It's already been a good trip. We're looking forward to getting back home, and that's when they have that bad last game of the trip. Minnesota's not in that situation. They're off 2 losses, so they should be focused. But, I'm never excited.
5 losses in a row, though, and this is at home. I could see.
Not like Seattle's coming in hungry too. You can't forget that. That's why it's a tricky game when it's all said and done. And the same thing with the offense. Like Minnesota's offense is not scoring, but Seattle's defense is, and Grubauer in net. How the hell do you trust them to keep the puck out if that's the combination tonight? Seattle's struggling D and Grubauer. Holy mackerel! But is Minnesota going to take advantage of it with their struggles on the road here to put the puck in the net? That's why it's a tough game, tricky game. I like Urov, though. I'm going to take a shot with Urov for prop here on the top.
Is he back in tonight?
He's back in tonight for the Minnesota Wild, so I don't mind taking a shot there as far as a goal prop for him in this game for the Minnesota Wild. On the Seattle side of the equation, it's worth noting they put Berkeley Catton, the youngster, it looks like, on the IR, so he'll be out for actually, no, they've got him in there right now at the moment. That's going to be changed. Yeah, he's out week to week. That's just RotoWire hasn't updated. Yeah, he's out week to week right now for the Seattle Kraken. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, great. Maybe Tolvanen is a small interest for me as far as anyone on Seattle for goal prop. All right, that's it. Great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat at the like button. We appreciate it very much. Looking forward to this Monday night NHL slate. Make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. Me, Alex, Matt Robinson, we're all there. It was an unbelievable Sunday in the NFL. Great games and great betting results. How about 7-1 card for me in the NFL at Wizard Sports Picks
nice.
yesterday. Oh, man, what an NFL. It's been a great NFL season, really, start to finish. But 7-1 yesterday, and we wrapped it up with the Houston Texans winning outright against Kansas City. I was shocked. They were laying more than a field goal, considering that's Houston got their ass knocked out by Kansas City in the playoffs last year.
Yep.
And they would bet Kansas City pregame. They bumped that sucker up to -5 with Kansas City before that game started. I'm like, what are you missing here? There's not the same Chiefs team. It's not. And so, yeah, it was nice to see Houston come through there, winning outright in that spot, especially with these 3 starting offensive linemen out for Kansas City against that defense. Yeah, I was shocked by that. Had so much love for Kansas City. So it was a great NFL day, 7-1 yesterday. We'll look to keep it going. It's been a good run. A lot of handicappers having good runs there. So check it out, wizardsportspicks.com, and get on board. Patreon.com/IceGuys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts. Again, daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props, posted each and every day on the Patreon page. We've had a great response from recent signups and subscriptions to the page. We thank you all for that. Your membership, it doesn't go unnoticed. We're going to deliver with a ton more live betcasts exclusive to Patreon members in the new year as well. So stay tuned for that. We're going to ramp up the volume as far as we're going to pump up the volume with the betcasts in the new year. So make sure you get on board. $10 per month subscription and membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So get on board if you haven't already. Just $10 per month at patreon.com/IceGuys.
Goalie charts will be updated this week there too. And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Okay, so you probably may have missed Cyber Week, 20% off, right? Well, today till midnight Eastern, you can get 25% off at the store right now. You click on the redeem button at the home page, get 25% off taken at checkout. Now's the time. If you want to get something for yourself or a loved one or a friend or whomever for the holidays, you want it under the tree in time, now's the time to order so you can get things delivered within time. You don't want to have any delays with weather or anything like that. So now's the time to order and save 25% off right now. That's at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Exactly. Now or never. You want that stuff, the gear and the merch under the tree for Christmas. You got to get on get it ordered now at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Check out the store. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including, of course, Royal Cannabis. Check it out, 20% off, promo code IceGuys, RoyalCannabisShop.com. And yes, it is indeed a solid fire Monday, and it's time for Bargain Bin Special of the night for this Monday. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain Bin Special of the night. You're coming off the great win with Uncle Leo Carlson, 2 goals plus 1,300. What do you got tonight for an encore?
How about this for another NBC TV reference? Let's go to the city with tossed salad and scrambled eggs. That'll be Seattle, Washington. You've got the Kraken taking on the Minnesota Wild, and I'm going with the guy who's moving up to the top line for Minnesota. That is Danil Yurov. You can get him anytime goal scorer at plus 500. So we're going Danil Yurov for the Minnesota Wild to get a goal here tonight. That's my Monday bargain bin special.
Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs. There we go. I'm a big fan of
Nice.
show. Minnesota, Danila Yurov, plus 500 for Alex with his bargain bin special of the night. Perla, what do you got for bargain bin special of the night?
I got three that I have a hard time choosing from. I'm not on often. I'm going to give them all. Why not? We go to the Detroit game. Vancouver has no centerman whatsoever. Got an Edmonton boy there. I don't know if you know anything about the Edmonton boys, but I'm from Edmonton. They hate Vancouver. Can't stand them. Nate Danielson, I like for a goal at plus 650. I think he's going to pot one there. And I'm going to go with Kane has been hotter than hell right now. He's been playing well. I got to take him for 2 points. But the other one, the reason it's sort of a bargain bin, that Seattle game. I'm going to take Minnesota puck line first period and Seattle to win the game plus 950.
Wow, there you go. That's
creative.
Big bargain bin. Diving into it for Perlo. Nice, two good selections. The Nate Danielson, I think, like I said, that's not bad. Like I said, and certainly Edmonton boy playing Vancouver. Yeah, that certainly maybe some incentive for him to make an impact here tonight on the scoreboard. Bargain bin special of the night for me. I'm going to go with 2. And yes, he is just barely good enough for bargain bin price, being, fitting the parameters of the bargain bin. We got to go to him tonight.
Paul.
He just owns Toronto. Nick Paul, Tampa Bay, plus 310 is available at Bet Rivers, FanDuel, among others. So Nick Paul, Tampa Bay, plus 310 for my first bargain bin special. And the other one is the one I was doing the Simpsons about earlier in the show. James Van Riemsdyk, JVR, James Van Beesbrook. Unbelievable. He's just one of the hottest goal scorers going for the Red Wings right now. 3 straight games with a goal. Still getting a phenomenal price with the old vet, JVR. JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, plus 510 for my second bargain bin special of the night. So Nick Paul, plus 310, Tampa Bay, James Van Riemsdyk, Detroit, plus 510 for my 2 bargain bin specials for this Monday night. Best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
We are so washed with our 90s TV references, but it's great. Let's go with Detroit, Vancouver. Like I said, I like that draw. We've seen the 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams go past regulation. BetMGM has the best price available at $3.33. So let's give me the draw, but the Red Wings and Canucks is my best bet for Monday night.
All right, Detroit, Vancouver. Draw for Alex with best bet. Perlo, what do you got for best bet?
I'm just going to go the over in the Toronto game, Toronto Lightning game. And shot prop, I'll go with Sergachev over 1.5 shots, minus 110. He's been going over forever. And after you said the coach is looking for them to get in front of the net, start shooting, I imagine he'll be shooting more today. So I'll take that one.
All right, good stuff. So the 2 best bets, the Tampa Bay Toronto over, which is now 6.5 across the board, and the shot prop there from Perlo for best bets. And my best bet, it's the one of the 2 that Perlo mentioned. I mean, it's been, once you get in one of these zones, you just stick with it. It's working. Been cashing with them day after day after day. The overs, and especially the series history, the strong series history overs going back to, really this run started with Ottawa, Montreal. Then we had Buffalo, Philly. Then we had Detroit, Columbus. We had 1 loss there with the Vegas, New Jersey, but that wasn't series history related. Then we got back to it Saturday with the Detroit and Seattle over. St. Louis, Montreal over last night. It's just these matchups where the series history has been one over after another, and we have that tonight with the Lightning and the Leafs. So Tampa Bay, Toronto, over 6.5, minus 105. Again with this matchup. 5-0 to the over, 7 of the last 8 meetings with 7 or more goals. So Lightning and Leafs, of course, Lightning getting 2 huge offensive pieces back, Point and Kucherov. Tampa Bay, Toronto, over 6.5 for my best bet for this Monday. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. very much. And again, looking forward to the Monday card. Reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith and Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we are back tomorrow on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.